Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
At the heart of this path is a property tax increase. This would effectively be a tax on working and middle-class New Yorkers who have a median income of $122,000. The second path also requires us to raid our reserves. It would mean withdrawing $980 million from our city's rainy day fund in fiscal year 2026 and $229 million from the Retiree Health Benefit Trust in fiscal year 2027. These are steps that have been taken before, but only in moments of extraordinary external crisis. Mayor Bloomberg's response to the 2008 financial collapse, and Mayor de Blasio's response to the enormous revenue shortfall caused by the pandemic. We do not want to have to turn to such drastic measures to balance our budget.
Let's see. We're gonna raid their pensions. We're gonna raid the rainy day fund. We have to pay for the illegal somehow. And we're gonna raise your property taxes 10%. Oh, you voted for this, and now you've got it, baby. Oh, welcome, my friends. I love it. Every time I hear it, I love it. Welcome, my friends, to the Wednesday edition of Bo's Nerdly's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. We're going to start out with a happy birthday. It is Yoko Ono's birthday today, you know. And Yoko Ono was born in 1933. She's hanging in there. But Philip, who knows so much about music, these young guys blow my mind because they know so much. Like Philip and Kevin and all these guys, they know so much about music. Yoko Ono's Plastic Ono Band, or the Plastic Band, we would sing. Do we have anything in the library from Yoko Ono?
I hope not.
I guess we did. That was Yoko.
Yeah, was that recorded when a car ran over her foot? What was that?
There was another one that I first heard, and literally it sounded like she was regurgitating. I guess it was early performance art. And so happy birthday, Yoko Ono. Okay, the Mamdani business, folks. Let's just jump right into it. Let's go to cut two. You heard the highlight of it, but let's just go to cut two with Zoran Mamdani, the mayor of New York City.
For those who have watched budget after budget, it is tempting to assume that we are engaging in the same dance as our predecessors. Let me assure you, nothing about this is typical. That's why our solutions won't be either. There are two paths to bridge this gap. The first is the most sustainable and the fairest path. This is the path of ending the drain on our city and raising taxes on the richest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations. The onus for resolving this crisis should not be placed on the backs of working and middle-class New Yorkers. If we do not fix this structural imbalance and do not heed the calls of New Yorkers to raise taxes on the wealthy, this crisis will not disappear. It will simply return, year after year, forcing harder and harsher choices each time. And if we do not go down the first path, the city will be forced down a second, more harmful path. Faced with no other choice, the city would have to exercise the only revenue lever fully within our own control. We would have to raise property taxes.
And there you have it. The Queensborough president is a gentleman for those of you outside of the New York area, the Big Apple, as it were. is divided into 5 distinct, if you were overseas or maybe in a British country, we would call them provinces. In New York, we call them boroughs. The boroughs. You have the borough of Staten Island, or Richmond, actually, borough of Richmond. You have the Kings and Queens counties, the boroughs of Queens. Yes, Kings and Queens counties. Queens is Queens County, Kings is Brooklyn. So you have the borough of Brooklyn and the borough of Queens. Then you have the borough of the Bronx. And, of course, the borough of Manhattan. All 5 of those comprise the Big Apple, New York City, the 5 boroughs. Queens is an interesting borough. Queens was the first major, it's a city unto itself. Back in the 90s, I want to say, could have been the 80s, but I believe it was the 90s. For the first time, the median income of Black Americans in the borough of Queens was higher than any other group. It is Southeast Queens particularly, and I grew up in Southeast Queens. You have, and part of what contributed to this was an influx of our neighbors from the Caribbean nations, especially the West Indies. And let me tell you, folks, these are some industrious people. Industrious, highly educated, a lot of liberals, sadly, but highly educated, highly entrepreneurial in spirit, and many of them flocked to Queens, especially in the areas of Laurelton, Cambria Heights, St. Albans, Springfield Gardens, and the like in Queens. And it is their legacy, along with the native Black Americans that resided in Queens. My family was among the first, moved there in the 1950s. It was still mostly a white, all of it, Queens white. And then white flight came. You know, we got some moving in. Let's move out. All my little white friends disappeared, Danny Boy and all the rest. We're getting out of here. Moving to Breezy Point, moving to wherever. They left. And slowly, it didn't happen. At first, it started slowly, and then it picked like an avalanche. Entire sections of Queens became all Black. Then you had other waves, like the Caribbean wave. Then you had waves of other immigrant populations from India, from Asia, from all over. You have other areas, some of the Russians, as you know, settled in to Brooklyn. And then you had a contingent of others. People moved into Bay Ridge. And all. So New York has this amazing history. It is truly a melting pot. But, I'll digress. Black residents in Queens are a major population force. So, let us listen in to Queens Borough President Donovan Richard in the borough of Queens. Yes, that would be cut 5. With his reaction to Mayor Zoran Mamdani demanding, stick him up, Kathy. Either you raise the tax on billionaires, like I said, I'm going to slap everybody with an almost 10% increase in their property taxes to get out of this hole. And here is what Queensboro President Donovan Richards has to say.
Well, we saw the foreclosure crisis. Where did it peak at? The foreclosure crisis always peaked in Southeast Queens. So without a doubt, you're pushing people out of their homes. And even as we talk about a pathway to affordable housing and a pathway to ownership, it's hard to buy a home now, so you're really setting back generational wealth, and you're going to force people out of their homes. And we know, we've already seen what happened in 2008. The Southeast Queens was hit hard, extremely hard.
Southeast Queens was hit hard. You do this, you're going to force people out of their homes because they will not be able to afford this humongous tax bill.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.